Alrighty everyone, welcome back. My name is Voortsy and I am going to be doing a Let's Play of Dungeon Siege 2. Unfortunately, our previous episodes that were in the original series were going to have to be cancelled. There were a little bit of troubles going on with the audio and the video in that series. So we're just going to be starting again, and we're actually going to be doing a different campaign, which is going to be a lot easier to record. Rather than having to do such massive chunks, we're going to be able to do a lot more of a checkpointy type system. So let's get straight into it. At the moment, you should be able to see the character creation screen, but it's going to be a little bit stretched and weird because this is recording in a different format to what we're going to be doing later. So don't worry, it will be proper widescreen later. We're just going to go straight ahead and create a new hero. This is probably what we're going to end up using because it sort of just keeps the default from the last time that you were playing. But in order to actually show you what we're going to be what the other options are, I'll just go through them really quickly now. So this is human, this is what we're going to be playing as, but you can also be a dryad. And there's a bunch of information on the side, which is basically just telling you that the dryads live in trees. They're all female. They were created after the first cataclysm, which you'll see in the opening trailer. You can be dwarves in this expansion, so this is the expansion pack for the original. It's not DLC, it's expansion. It's like a completely new storyline and everything. You can also be elves. Elves are pretty cool. You can be half giants, but their animations look a little bit weird in my opinion, so don't really want to be playing as one of those. And you can be humans. So the biggest thing for humans at the moment is these 2 unspent skill points that we're going to be able to use, rather than them already being chosen for us into different things like you get here. 1 in natural bond, 1 in dodge, 1 in critical strike, 1 in survival, 1 in chant of stone. What we want is the unspent skill points, and we also want the 10% chance to find magic items, because unless there's something weird on dwarves, no, dwarves don't have any bonuses, the 10% chance to find magic items is really good in the early game. So let's just go straight in. These are all the different campaigns and maps that you can do. We're just going to select Dungeon Siege 2 because it's going to be the easiest for this series, and click next. Now there's going to be a long introductory cutscene. I'm not going to talk during that, just so you can experience it for yourself, and then I will get straight back into the Let's Play. So let's go. And on Mercenary, because we haven't unlocked the other ones yet. So Mercenary, here we go.
A 1,000 years ago, when Arana was young but not innocent, the first age of man came to an end by the meeting of a sword and a shield. The sword of Zaramoth the Unmaker, powered by a subterranean river of magic, had ruled the age by unquestioned force, until the shield of Azunai the Defender became the sword's only rival in power. They were destined to meet on the field that would forever be known as the Plain of Tears. Zaramoth commanded control of the power. Azunai longed to disperse it. Both zealots could not win. But unbeknownst to either warrior, the sword and shield had destinies of their own. The sword shattered the shield and sparked the great cataclysm. The land split open, and the souls of the warriors, ripped from their chests, rushed into the river of souls that flowed beneath the land, splintering it into 1,000 ley lines. The shockwave was felt in every part of Arana. Even the lives that were spared were changed forever. The stars shifted, and the Second Age began. All this was forgotten for centuries. The magic that was scattered on the Plain of Tears was fractured under the world, waiting with its unpredictable power. Until a young prince named Valdis followed powerful visions to the mountain fortress called Zaramoth's Horns. wizards mastered the magic, and granted Voldis access to the lost sword of Zaramoth, the very instrument that ended the First Age. In that instant, the Second Age fell under the sword's ominous shadow.
More worthless mercs! You're late! You're neared at the front immediately! Check in with Morden Lieutenant Gerund at the tower! Now get moving!
I've had a bad feeling about this ever since we left Armonlu. There's something... I don't trust these Morden.
Alrighty, so we are now in the game. Now, as you could probably tell if you watched the last episode, or the first episode of the last series, which we, as I said, unfortunately had to cancel, you'll be able to tell that this is a lot more, I don't know what you'd say, a lot more advanced. The cinematics that we're actually watching are decent cinematics. They're not sort of just weird pan shots of the locations and of people seeing things. So while there are a few cinematics in this, for the most part this game actually tries to keep itself relatively clear of all of that sort of thing. So the storyline is very much told to you through the... oh, not the storyline, but the gameplay is very much something that you just sort of get on with in the game. Anyway, so the first thing we want to do is... actually, we can't do that yet. There's just a whole bunch of... basically telling us how to do things, opening journals, open that, close, what else do we want? I think that's pretty much it in terms of information that we need to know straight at the beginning. So the first thing I'm going to do is just right click on these things to get some extra gear. I think there's some over here, is there? No, you can't talk to these guys.
What are you standing around for? Check in with Morden Lieutenant Gerund at the tower! Get moving! Now!
No! Alright, yeah, so you can talk to all these guys.
Don't expect an easy time of it, maggot!
We're not going to. It's going to take too long. I don't think there's anything else that you can get from around here. You can talk to these guys.
Once again, hint of the madness. They say it's rough going against those dryads.
Well, they definitely have the same exact face. And the same... wait, do I have the same face? Wow. That's legit. So they got the same... we all got the same face and the same voice
Once
actor.
again, hint of the madness.
Into the madness. What about this
They
girl?
say that the dryads are all female. I've never fought a sister before.
Nice. Alright. Gerund. What's up?
Mark, report to Morden Fighter Talk ahead for your combat lesson! Get moving now!
On our way. Open the gate, please. I wonder if we should, like, how we're gonna voice this guy. Alright, so let's see.
Do you know
What's
which
this
end of
guy?
a blade is which, maggot? Let's see if you can destroy this
Try to
training
dummy
dummy with your dagger.
Alright, easy enough. Farewell. Right click. Oh wait, yeah, there's also a setting that I want to change. 5. Alright, there we go. 1 sec. Options, game, automatic, yes. Automatic, yes. Basically, the settings that I just changed then make it so that you can just right click once and it'll keep attacking until the object that you're, or the target that you're aiming towards dies. So yeah, like I said in the original thing, what I'm going to try and go with at the moment is probably a melee build.
More mercs playing at war! You probably don't even understand how to gain experience in the 4 classes, do you, scum?
Yes, I know what I'm doing.
You maggots never know what you're doing.
Yeah, we
Choose
do.
a class.
Okay, basically what he's trying to say is that there are 4 different classes: ranged, melee, nature magic, and combat magic. And if you switch between them too much,
The other mercs
you
at the front lines
will
already.
not be
Wait,
very effective.
I have a
Hold
bad
on.
feeling about this. My medallion feels heavy, as if it's trying to tell me not to move.
Not that superstitious nonsense again. The medallion is just a pretty bauble from your sister. We have a job to do, so let's get to it.
You aren't being paid to stand around. Get moving now!
Wow, that guy actually moves his mouse when he talks. Everyone else is sort of just flat. I just noticed that.
Those filthy dryads are summoning another shell! You mercs, get in there and destroy that thing!
Those must be the Bracken we learned about as children. Let's take them out!
Alrighty. So, this game, it's a bit of a Diablo clone, and it's squad-based adventure, which is very interesting, and it's something that I really, really enjoy. Because rather than you just being sort of like one person that, rather than you being one person that just goes through the entire world yourself, you get to have a party of up to 6 different people. So there's like 6 different slots that you can have.
These Bracken are as weak as Calrathian
And
ale!
that's great,
We can kill them
because
faster
it means that
spread out. We should switch
your
to
combat
rampage
itself
mode.
actually ends up going quite fast. So rather than sticking around forever and waiting for like one character to just sort of wail on something a bit Guild Wars 2 style, you actually get to take out heaps of different enemies relatively quickly. So I was watching a little video before actually about someone who was talking about Dungeon Siege, and he said that it ruined other MMOs and other RPGs for him because you actually just get to
These
sort of
creatures
carve
remind me of our
through-
scuffles with the Tackler. Tough.
You get to
Focus
carve
on fire,
through,
they'll go down faster. Let's switch
the
to mirror
enemies
mode.
quickly rather than just sort of wailing on one and then moving on to the other, and each enemy taking on a whole bunch of different attacks. So while if I just used one character to sort of kill him, the fact that we have another one attacking alongside us makes it heaps faster. So when you have a full party of like 6 different people, some doing ranged, some doing melee, it makes a really big difference. So I'm just going to pause real quickly because we're going to go into our specializations. We're just going to go into critical strike, which is going to increase the chance to inflict a critical hit, which does twice the damage. So we're going to go from 6%, which was the original. We're going to bump that up to 13.5 by putting 3 of our skill points in it. We leveled up before, so we're now a level 1 squire. This guy doesn't really matter. We'll just put whatever, and then... Oh, by the way, this is Dreven. He's sort of our lifelong friend from back in a town called Armamay, where we grew up. So that's his deal. I'm just sort of chilling with him. So in this game, opposed to the original Dungeon Siege, which was it was very similar in a lot of ways, but there were some things that made it better, some things that made it worse. This game's a little bit more interactive than Dungeon Siege 1. So in this game you have these powers at the bottom of the screen. So I'll show you what they do in a second, or when I get a good chance to show you. So these powers basically make it so that your character has special moves other than just the right clicking. So if I was just to, oops, I fainted. So if I was just to right click, I'd be doing a standard amount of damage. But once I go onto this guy, if I activate the power, I will basically one-shot him. So that power which is called where is it? Brutal Attack, does 2,133.8% of the damage that you would normally do. So this thing can crit as well. So if you got a crit with this, you'd do a ridiculous amount of damage. What would that be? That would be like 40 times the damage of your normal attack. So you can see the damage values of everything that you use.
These wooden creatures are weak to fire! Too
So
bad I'm not combat
3, 8, 7, 6, 3. It's basically just a random number generator dictating which damage your character will be hitting. So on each character, on each weapon, sorry, there's a damage percent or a damage multiplier. Not multiplier, just the damaging range. So that's 2 to 3, but that's also amped up by other things like my strength. So my strength will increase the amount of damage that I do with weapons. So even though I'm doing 2 to 3 damage with the weapon, or the damage from the weapon is adding 2 to 3 to every hit, I'm actually doing minimum damage 4 to 8. So anything between 4 and 8 is what I'll normally do, unless I crit, in which case I'll do either 8 for the minimum or 16 for the maximum. So this game is pretty much just about min-maxing.
Hey, that sword looks a lot like the weapons my father gave us when we were first learning to fight.
Effective
You should
builds
pick
that
it
you
up.
can, and then running with those.
Yes! Die and leave me a pint of your blood!
That's ruthless. Oh, I just activated my... No, I want the health potions. God. Ah! There we go. Okay, so this game's like, its voice acting actually isn't too bad. Oh, hold up, cutscene.
I have that
well,
traitorous
you know what I
fiend
mean.
in my sights. I could, but why does my heart stay my hand? Perhaps there is more at play here than I can tell for the moment. There's something about this one.
Did you see that elf? I recognized him. It was Amryn.
Amryn? Are you certain? I've heard rumors about his gift of sight, but have never seen him before. What would he be doing here?
I know that he is much talked about in Drudwyn's tavern back home. He's rarely seen, but his deeds, real or imagined, are discussed there with enthusiasm.
Why would he be fighting the dryads of this isle? From what I know, elves have never had much to do with dryads. At least, not that I'm aware.
I would be interested in finding that out myself.
I find that a bit weird that we just stopped to have a conversation in the middle of a war zone, but, oh well, guess it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that 91 there was basically me using a skill, or using the brutal attack power, so every time
These
that
cats
I
will
activate
attack! Next time we see one, use my brutal
one of
attack
the
power
brutal
on him. That'll
attacks,
surprise
it'll
him.
do one of those huge hits. Now, I did pick up a sword, and I think it does do a little bit more damage. So that's 2 to 4 to 2. So it's just going to add a little bit more. It's going to look a bit more when you hit a brutal attack, like, every now and again if you kill someone, I think if you kill, if you hit an enemy with a hard enough attack when it's low enough on HP, they just sort of explode out into all these meaty chunks, which is pretty brutal. I'm dying. Alright. So, in this game, you have your basic blue and red potions. So blue is obviously mana. Well, not obviously mana. I haven't really used any spells. But blue is mana. So their mana is used by all of the mages in this game, or for all of the spells that are used in this game, they use mana. They take up mana. And then for everything else, there is just health potions. Everything else, there's mana. So, when you run out of health, you will take you'll start to go down on health, but if you don't have to pause the game, obviously, but if you use a health potion, rather than it just sort of being a button that is pressed and then it sort of just goes up without any animation, in this game, you'll actually stop for a second, so it's all about realizing
You're turning into
that
quite the
while
warrior.
you're...
Keep in mind, you should choose a class and stick with it if you want to approach my expertise.
Yeah. It's all about recognizing that while you're drinking the health potion, you don't get the health immediately. It sort of slowly goes up, and it also takes a bit of time out of your damage. So you need to be aware of that sort of thing.
Took you long enough, worm! The temple is through the cave! Get moving, now!
Stop a moment. My medallion. I know how you feel about it, but I just can't shake this feeling that something is going to happen. The closer we get to the temple, the stronger I feel it.
Honestly, Drevin, when we're out of here, I'll buy you a frothy mug of ale and you'll feel much better.
I look forward to that. But for now, I want you to take my medallion. Please, it's important to me. More than you know. Just promise that you won't ever let Voldus take it.
I'm tired of this. Very well. Since you're so obsessed with it, I'll hold your medallion until we return home. Now let's move on. Alright. So, Drevin, let's go! So these characters here that have a ring around them, they're sort of like, I wouldn't necessarily call them mini-bosses, they're more just like elite enemies. So they have a bit more health to work with, so they're a little bit tougher. Stop, get some health. By the way, in this game, one of the things that they did, which I really appreciated, was that they added auto-cast spells. So in the first game, basically what you had to end up doing is that if you were using a mage and you wanted your mage to sort of focus on healing, you had to switch to their healing mode every single time. You had to switch to a healing spell every single time rather than just being able to leave them at attacking, and then once somebody gets low, they would heal. But in this game, because it's because this game is a little bit more automated in that sense, you can add auto-cast spells, so that's really useful, rather than having to what am I trying to say? Select them manually, which is great. So Dungeon Siege is it's really interesting because it takes away a lot of the sort of I guess I'd call it tedious gameplay that I find in a lot of MMOs. So rather than just sort of running up and just mashing the button until something dies, you sort of just click it once and then they'll mash the enemy until it dies. And it's sort of like, some people may say that it takes away some of the skill, but really I don't find there to be any more skill in standing next to someone mashing a button than there is to be standing next to someone and pushing a button once. So we're going to get a cutscene here. I'll shut up for it, and then we will get going. This will probably be the end of the first episode, so we'll just watch the cutscene and then we'll get going.
Get moving, worm! You marks are late! Get to the temple now!
Congratulations, Voldus. We have completed our task. When can we expect our pay? Look out!
All right. So that'll probably do it for the first episode. Do not show this dialogue in the future, and yes, save. That'll do it for the first episode. When we come back, we'll sort of explore this Dryad colony up in Ireland, which is this area here, and we will get into the game proper. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, I've been Voortsy. If you want to leave a like and a comment, it greatly helps just to show how many people are really enjoying this content. Like I said in the last video, at the moment, because the channel is so small, every single comment is great. So yeah, I really want to commend those people in the channel update who sort of replied to everything. I've forgotten your names at the moment, but I'll mention you in the next episode because it really helps out. Obviously, there's also going to be a link to the Discord server down below if you want to join the community. It's very small. It's basically just me and one other guy at the moment, so come and join us. It'll be nice and fun. Anyway, that'll do it for this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks very much.